Hi, my name is Baldwin, and I came out as a gay man in the summer of 1968, and it was the year before Stonewall. Funny part of it is, when Stonewall occurred the following year, I was too busy being out and about that I didn't really pay too much attention to what was going on at Stonewall. Probably, although I was aware, of course, then the 70s came along and gay liberation happened, and I actually even went to a Gay Activists Alliance meeting or something that was held at a college campus not far from where I was living in Illinois at the time. I thought, this doesn't really suit me. I was aware. I mean, I was out, and I really wasn't experiencing a lot of what people have talked about experiencing. I wasn't beaten up in alleys or anything like that, so that was foreign to me. Although when I went into a bar or something, I always looked over my shoulder, and I most of the time left my ID in the car back in the days when you could do that. Pride, pride grew over the years, and I guess when I first started really experiencing a little bit more was when I was in Minneapolis. I would see the folks who were out and proud, were willing to take the chance, were out in the street and they were marching. And I was watching on the sidelines and supporting of them and happy that they were doing that. But I wasn't quite ready to do that. Probably wasn't really until the AIDS crisis hit that I really began to think about my privilege, and if I had anything that I needed, I would probably be able to get it more easily than other people as a white privileged male. The gay part probably would have been a down part. But anyway, when I first came to Seattle, I was working at the Seattle Gay Clinic as the receptionist, clinic manager, and I got to see a lot of the early days of HIV and AIDS. Every year in Seattle, there is a pride, what is referred to now as a parade, and I still really prefer to call it a march because I think they have different connotations. And I drove in the march, I think probably the first year I was here, as representing the gay clinic, and the nurse practitioner who worked for us was sitting on the back, waving his hand like this with his nurse's cap on top of his head, and we had a good time. But it was all about making much more, being much more aware of who I am and what the consequences of being gay are and how to avoid that. So, I'm thrilled that there is gay marriage. I'm thrilled that what used to be called gay is now LGBTQ, I'll just say plus, because I don't know the rest of the letters. And I think some of that has left me behind. But I'm all for it. I'm out. I don't give a damn what anybody says or thinks. So that's kind of my story. When I think about power in pride, the first thing that comes to my mind is what the pride riots, the first pride march was a riot, what it's turned into. And it's no longer a riot, but it's festive. I guess part of power for me is being able to celebrate the festivities and the good stuff. We march because we want to be heard, and we are marching against the system, and we're marching for equal rights, and not only for us, but for everyone. There's power in numbers, and when you look at New York and that huge gay flag that they're carrying down the street, you cannot help but admire that parade, the people who are in the parade, and what that stands for. So, basically power in pride for me is numbers, and the number of us who have decided to be powerful with that group, with LGBTQ+. I know I could not do this by myself. But with everybody in New York City, on the street, on the last Sunday in June, or the last Sunday in June here in Seattle, or the last Sunday in June in San Francisco, or wherever else there's marches held these days, there's a lot of power there. and it's celebratory at the same time. We're celebrating the victories of the past and hopefully our future as well. And sometimes it feels very frightening. We are not home free. None of us is.